Hello and welcome to Friday's Maths. Today you are going to need your Power Maths workbooks because we are doing the problem solving decimals lesson from there. If you've not got it, don't worry, I'll put the pictures up on the screen and you can just do it on some paper. So today's Discover is all about the cinema. So you can see we're at the cinema, there's a Dino Mates adventure, there's Maths Hero 2, and we've got 2 adults and we've got 3 children as well. So Holly is saying, I bought 2 adult tickets, they cost £6.45 each. So think about the facts that Holly has just told us. And Toshi in the yellow is saying, I spent the same amount in total as Holly, but I bought 3 children's tickets. So your first question is, what is the price of a children's ticket? And the second part is, there are 48 seats in the front row of the cinema. How much more money will the cinema take when the front row is filled with adults than when it is filled with children? Right. Thinking about question A then, you might want to draw a nice bar model for this. If you know that one adult ticket is £6.45 and she bought 2 of them. So first things first, start working out how much money did Holly spend altogether. Now Toshi bought 3 children's tickets but spent the same amount as Holly. So if you know how much Holly has spent, how could you then work out what one child's ticket would be if Toshi spent the same as Holly but bought 3 children's tickets? Pause the video and then we'll go through the answers together. So here are the answers. Sorry about the horrible shadow that's going across, but it's so dark today with all the rain that I need all the lights on, so it's got a bit of a funny shadow, so I do apologise. But hopefully you can see here we've got a bar model in the middle. Now that bar model is showing that 2 adult tickets for £6.45, which is what Holly told us, is equal to 3 children's tickets, and you can see that drawn underneath. Now if an adult's ticket is £6.45 times 2, so just multiplying decimals or adding 2 decimals together, you could have done it either way, would tell you that Holly spent £12.90, and you can see that at the top of the bar model. So if Holly spent £12.90 and 3 children's tickets are the same as £12.90, how are you going to work out one children's ticket? Well, you're going to divide £12.90 by 3. So you can see that on the right-hand side of the bar model, we've got a bus stop method. £12.90 divided by 3 would be £4.30. So the price of one child's ticket is £4.30. Okay, here's the answer for B. So this is what we were doing yesterday when we were multiplying decimals. However, this one is multiplying by a 2-digit number. Now, just like I said yesterday, you can either just put your decimal points in and just treat this like a normal multiplication, or if that's a little bit confusing and you can do it like this, you can get rid of that decimal point. Now, to get rid of that decimal point, I would have to times this number by 100. I'd have to move it 2 places. I'd have to times by 100. So then at the end, whatever your answer is, you then just need to divide it by 100. If you actually did this as 645 times 48, you're actually doing this as in pennies, okay? And at the end, you need to turn it back into pounds by dividing by 100. But you don't have to do it like that. You can do it as a decimal. You can do it in pounds. So there's 48 seats in the front row of the cinema. There's my 48. We know that one adult ticket is £6.45. So I'm going to have a go at multiplying this first. Then I'm going to have a go at multiplying the price of a child's ticket by 48. And then we need to find the difference. So just like we did at school, I've changed the colour of my 10s and my 1s. Now to begin with, I'm just going to cover up that 10s number and we're just going to treat this as £6.45 times by 8, which we can do nice and easy. We were doing it yesterday. So 5 times 8 is 40. So I'm going to leave a 0 in my hundredths column and rename the 4 tenths. 8 times 4 is 32, add 4 is 36. 6 times 8 is 48, add 3 is 51. £51.60. Now I'm going to change colour because now I want to do £6.45 times 40. Now exactly the same as if we're multiplying normally a whole number by a tens number. What do you need to put here? In the ones column, because if you times anything by a tens number, unless it's a decimal of course, you're going to have 0 in the ones column. If I did 5 times 10, it would be 50. If I did 625 by 10, it'd be 6,250. If you're multiplying a whole number by 10, you will have a 0 in the ones column. So once I've done that, now I can start my sum as I would normally. So 4 times 5 is 20. So I need to leave my 0 like I normally would, rename the 2. 4 times 4 is 16, add 2 is 18, rename the 1. 4 times 6 is 24, add the 1, 25, just making sure I've got everything lined up right. £258. Now, I'm just going to rub these out so I don't run out of room. We now need to just add these up. So I'm going to put my decimal place in so that I can see it. Sorry, the screen's gone a little bit bright. Hopefully you can see it. So 0 add 0 is 0. 6 tenths add 0 tenths would be 6 tenths. 1 whole add 8 wholes would be 9 wholes. 5 add 5 would be 10. 2 add 1 would be 3. So if the whole front row was filled with adults, it would be £309.60. So, for the second part of this question, I'm now going to do the price of a child's ticket, which is £4.30, and times that by 48, because if there was children in all 48 rows, or 48 seats of the cinema, we want to see how much that would cost. So, same thing again, I've colour-coded my tens and my ones. Put my decimal place in there to start off with. So, treat this one exactly like you are just timesing a normal whole number by another whole number. You don't need to worry about the tens, but of course we have got a decimal. So 0 times 8 is 0. I'll put 0 here. 3 times 8 is 24. So put 4 here, rename my 2. 4 times 8 is 32. Add 2 more is 34. So £34.40. Now I'm going to change colour pen. I'm going to put my decimal point in. This time we are timesing by a tens number. So what needs to go in my ones column? A 0. Perfect. And now we just carry on like we would usually. So 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 3 is 12. Rename the 1. 4 times 4 is 16. Add the 1 is 17. Sorry, I'm struggling to get on my screen. Now I need to add it all together. So 0 add 0 is 0, 4 add nothing is 4, don't forget my decimal point. 4 add 2 is 6, 3 add 7 is 10, so I leave the 0, rename the 1. So it would be £206.40. Have I finished? Not quite yet, because now I need to find out the difference. How do we work out the difference? Which operation? Subtraction. So now I would do £309.60, take away £206.40, and your answer should be £103.20. So when you have a cinema filled with adults, they would take £103.20 more than if it was filled with children. There's 2 alternative ways you could have done this, and you can prove your answer by doing it this way. As you can see here, this person here has multiplied the decimals by 100 first of all, and then divided their answer by 100 at the end to put it back into pounds and pence. If you want to do it this way because you're more comfortable with it not being a decimal number, that is absolutely fine. But just don't forget at the end, you need to divide it back. Another way you could have done this is by finding the difference between a price of an adult ticket and the price of a child ticket, and then by multiplying it by 48. Because this way, it's just doing it the other way around. So you're finding the difference first of all, and then timesing it by 48, rather than timesing it all by 48 and then finding the difference. It's up to you which way you do this question. You get the same answer either way. It's just which way do you think is the most efficient way. Okay, now turn to page 63 in your workbooks, and I want you to have a go at 1 and 2. Then we'll go through the answers, and then we'll do the next few, and I'll go through the answers for those. So have a go first on your own, and then we'll go through the answers. So for this first one then, the mass of a bag of sweets is 0.3 kilograms. The mass of 5 bags of popcorn is equal to the mass of 3 bags of sweets. So here's my 3 bags of sweets, and each one of those is 0.3. Ooh. 0.3, which means my total for the bag of sweets would be 0.9 of a kilogram. 5 bags of popcorn are equal to this. So here's my 5 bags of popcorn. There's my little popcorn drawn there. What's the mass of 1 bag of popcorn? Well, if I know that these 3 boxes of sweets altogether equal 0.9 kilograms, I know that 5 bags of popcorn is the same as 0.9 kilograms. How can I work out 1? Well, I can do 0.9 divided by 5. So, going to draw my bus stop method. Can I do 0 divided by 5? No, I cannot. Nothing to rename. How many 5s go into 9? Well, 1, and then there would be 4 left over. Now, you can put as many zeros as you need after a decimal, and it does not change your number. So, 9 divided by 5 would be 1, and there would be 4 left over. So now I've got 40 divided by 5, which would be 8. So my answer would be 1 bag of popcorn would be 18 kilograms. Number 2. For this one, 4 bags of popcorn cost £7.20. 2 bags of popcorn and a carton of juice cost £4.75. How much does the carton of juice cost? Right, so 4 bags of popcorn, I'm going to draw a little bag, there's my popcorn, equals £7.20. But I want to know what 2 bags of popcorn equal. So if 4 boxes equals £7.20, you could do this using bus stop method, or you could do this in your head. How would you work out 2 boxes? Well, to get from 4 to 2, I divide by 2. So I want to do £7.20 divided by 2. I'm going to do this in my head. 20p divided by 2 would be 10p. £7 divided by 2 would be £3.50. So add on that 10, and that would be £3.60. If you wanted to do the bus stop method, you could have done the bus stop method. So, 2 bags of popcorn and a carton of juice cost £4.25. Well, I know that this 2 bags of popcorn is £3.60. Now I need to work out the juice. So I'm going to do the £4.25. I'm going to take away £3.60. So, 5 take away 0 would be 5. 2 take away 6 I can't do, so I need to rename. 12 take away 6 would be 6. Don't forget my decimal point. 3 take away 3 would be 0. So the carton of juice would be 65p. The next question is asking you how much more it costs to buy 8 bags of popcorn than 8 cartons of juice. So there's lots of different ways you can work out 8 bags of popcorn. If you know, which we do from the question 2a, 4 bags equals £7.20. If I want to work out 8 bags, I need to times it by 2. I'm going to do this mentally in my head, but you could use column method if you're not confident with it. 20 times 2 is going to be 40. £7 times 2 is going to be £14. So 8 bags of popcorn is going to be £14.40. And I'm going to draw a little popcorn there so I don't get confused. 8 cartons of juice then. Well, I know that 1 carton equals 65p, and I want to work out 8 cartons, so I'm going to times it by 8. So again, you can do 65 times by 8, or you can do it as a decimal and do 0.65 times 8, because this is working in pence. So if we did 0.65 times by 8, don't forget my decimal point, 5 times 8 is 40, so I'll put the 0, rename my 4/10. 6 times 8 is 48, add 4 is going to be 52. 8 times nothing is 0, add my 5, £5.20. Now I need to work out the difference. So £14.40 take away £5.20 would leave me with £9.20. So it'd cost you £9.20 more to buy 8 bags of popcorn than 8 cartons of juice. Right, now have a go at 3 and 4. You can have a go at 5, the challenge, if you want to, and then we'll go through the answers. So for number 3, we need to write the missing numbers on the number line. Now, the way we work out number lines, and we're quite good at this now, we've done this loads and loads and loads, is look at what is the whole. So from 4 to 4.1, what is that whole part of the number line worth? Well, from 4 to 4.1 is 0.1, 1/10. So this whole part of the number line is worth 1/10. Now I need to see how many parts, how many intervals that 1/10 is split into. So it's split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we need to do that 0.1 divided by 10, which is 0.01. So to check this is right, I've written in all the numbers on the number line would be. So it'd be 4.01, 4.02. This one halfway would be 4.05. 4.06, 4.07, 4.98, 4.09, and then the next one would be 4.1. So I know that this answer is right. Right. This one here then. If this is 4 holes, this is then less than 4 holes. What's 4 holes? Take away 1/100th. Well, it would be 3.99 because you've taken away 1/100th. And if you added that 100th, you would get to 4. Number 4 then has got a nice little weighing scale. So this weighing scales are showing us that this amount of chocolate is equal to this amount of nuts. And we can see that because the weighing scales are equal. Neither of them is tipping down. They weigh the same thing. So it tells us that the mass, the weight of 1 bar of chocolate is 0.2 kilograms. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bars of chocolate here. If each one is 0.2 of a kilogram, 8 times 0.2 is 1.6 kilograms. So I know that this side of the weighing scales is 1.6 kilograms. If this is the same, this tells me that this side must also be 1.6 kilograms. How do I work out the mass of 1 tin of nuts then? Well, if I know that 6 equal 1.6, to work out 1, I need to divide it. So I'm going to do 1.6 divided by 6. So how many times does 6 go into 1? Well, it doesn't. So I'm going to rename it. How many times does 6 go into 16? Well, it's 6, 12, 18. So it goes in twice and there would be 4 left over. So I'm going to draw some zeros because the zeros after decimal point don't change the number, so it doesn't matter. So there'll be 4 left over. So I'm going to rename my 4 there. How many 6s go into 40? Well, it's 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42. Right, 7's too many, but 6 would go in. That would be 36. And then there would be 4 left over. So there'd be 4 left over. How many 6s go into 40? Well, we already know the answer to this. It would be 6, and there would be 4 left over. How many 6s go into 40? Well, it would be 6, and there would be 4 left over. So, as you can see, there's a little bit of a pattern here. This means it's recurring, okay? Now, if this is asking you for an answer to 2 decimal places, what's 0.266666 to 2 decimal places? Well, I want it to go here to hundredths. If I look next door and it's a 6, I'm going to round it up. So to 2 decimal places, it would be 0.27 kilograms. But if you got 0.26666, I'd give you the mark for that as well, because it doesn't actually say to 2 decimal places. Well done, that was a tricky one. Okay, for your challenge, it wanted you to arrange the numbers in the grid so that each row, column and diagonal had the same total. So this really is a trial and error. Okay, you know that not all the large numbers can go in one row or one column, so you're going to have to spread those out a little bit. So this would just be have a go and see how you can do it, see which ways it goes, see which way starts to work. So the answer is in front of you on the sheet, okay? That is a challenge, so you didn't have to do that one. But if you did challenge yourselves, did you get it right? Right, well done for today. You've worked really, really hard. Show me your answers, and next week we're going to move on to a different topic. See you then.